The purpose of this video is not to provide answers, but to ask questions. It will examine Route 30 and the Norfolk Southern Plan to move an existing railroad switching station from Dillerville Road to land directly behind the Harrisburg Pike Post Office. We will examine placement of the sound reduction walls and the location of the new rail yard. The viewer will have a better understanding of the questions after they have researched several subjects. The first subject will be Rex 84, PDD 51, and the government document titled Civilian Labor Camps. The second subject is the newly proposed House Resolution 645, which will utilize military bases that were closed during the Clinton administration as national emergency centers. We strongly encourage you to do your own independent research. You will need this information to have a clear understanding of the location of the new rail yard and the questions that this video will ask. Please keep in mind this video will shock and confuse you if you are not familiar with Rex 84, Civilian Labor Camps, and HR 645. We will not examine zoning, eminent domain, or ordinances of these areas or follow the money being spent on the project. That information has been documented by concerned citizens, and it can be found online, and it poses its own set of questions. We understand the sound reduction walls, fences, and layout of Route 30 do serve an obvious purpose. We want to look beyond the obvious and examine the location of the rail yard from an esoteric perspective. Our desire is to encourage you to ask new questions and to give you a new desire to defeat this agenda. There are places in Lancaster County where sound reduction walls are necessary, and they make perfect sense. The placement of the sound reduction walls from Marietta Avenue on Route 30 East to the Route 30 split bring many questions. Several large developments along Route 30 West, starting at Sylvan Retreat Overpass, Mountville Exit, and ending with the largest at Marietta Avenue, can be seen from Route 30 West. No sound reduction walls are found at these locations. A church, small businesses, and some houses are found along Route 30 East at Marietta Avenue, while Route 30 West has no businesses, only developments. Why are sound reduction walls located on Route 30 East, even though the west side of Route 30 is much more densely populated? Let's take a close look at the location and construction of the sound reduction walls. Have you ever wondered what is behind the sound reduction walls? We look at the walls by Park City first. The walls at this location have a total of 5 houses and acres of open fields behind them. The walls are over 1/10 of a mile long. They are at least 7 feet tall while driving on Route 30. Looking at them from the other side, they are at least 10 feet high, or higher if you include the height of the soil mounded near them. As a reference, Jennifer is 5 feet tall. Would you consider this a residential area? Are the walls necessary at this location? Were taxpayer dollars well spent on constructing this set of walls? The last set of walls we will examine are in Longs Park. The walls, not including cement barriers, are 3/10 of a mile long. Again, using 5-foot Jennifer as a reference for size, the viewer can see the height of the walls. You add an additional 5 feet when including the height of the soil. The walls resemble prison walls. The military have been conducting checkpoints along the highways in this country. Locally, the police have been setting up public safety checkpoints near the walls. Is this a coincidence? Is it possible to avoid a military or a police checkpoint by running away from the stretch of walls, this odd fencing, and this steep terrain? Would anyone ever try to escape a checkpoint by jumping over these walls? Is there any escaping that area of Route 30 when checkpoints are conducted? Is it a coincidence that the new rail yard will be located near these questionable sound reduction walls? Are they sound reduction walls? Or do they serve a hidden purpose? We will now expand the view to include the sound reduction walls, Toys R Us, Park City, and the location of the new rail yard, and will ask questions. Toys R Us is the highest point in the area. The building can only be seen from very few areas at street level because it is surrounded by mounds of soil that are over 20 feet high, even higher if you include the deep swale. The store can only be seen from the very top of the cement tunnel entry. However, the post office, Park City, LGH's health campus, a retirement home, and interstate highways can easily be seen from the parking lot. It has a built-in lookout from above the 15-foot high cement wall that extends out into the unused area of the parking lot. The houses on the corner could be torn down to make way for other structures. Keeping in mind, FEMA and Homeland Security have been taking over closed stores and shopping malls. What part will Toys R Us play in the new location of the rail yard? Does the location, layout, and poor sales of Toys R Us raise any questions? Could FEMA or Homeland Security easily occupy the store? Many businesses have proposed using the land around Toys R Us, including the Clipper Stadium for the Barnstormers. All proposals were denied. Why will the rail yard get approval, especially when other locations are available and make much more sense? While assembling a train from that location, Farmingdale Road, Good Drive, and Roarstown Road will be blocked by that train. Can you think of a better temporary roadblock than a train crossing the street? Why do the plans for the rail yard not include parking for the commuters? Last question. If a quarantine is requested, will Lancaster General's Health Campus and the rail yard play a part? Thank you for watching. Drive around these areas, discuss the questions raised with your family and friends. We ask that you research the subjects and government documents mentioned before drawing your conclusions. If you look past the obvious, you might see the esoteric, the hidden agenda. Has this been hidden right in front of our eyes? An infrastructure must be in place to implement any plan. Is history repeating? The best way to predict the future is to examine and to learn from the past.